What time is it? It's collab time with Andi Does Stuff, and we are going to show you 10 of our favorite fall palettes in our collection. So there may be some crossovers with palettes, there may not be, but yeah. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down and comment down below. That is my favorite part. Yeah, so let's just get into this, okay? Make sure you go follow Andi, of course, okay? Follow Andi. We've collabed a lot. I'm sure you already are following her, but if you're not, go follow her. She's amazing. She is awesome. She is one of my closer YouTube friends. For fall palettes, this was a tough one because I have a lot of fall palettes and it's like my favorite time of year, my favorite spooky themes. Well, let's just get into it. The first one that I'm not doing this in any order. I just kind of threw them all in a like pile, and then actually some of them are on my eyes right now today. So yeah, anyway, I pulled out the It's Freaking Bats by Bean and Shroud. I really want the new one, you guys. It has multi-chromes in it, and yeah, it looks stunning. This one is what it looks like. That white spot is unmixed shadow. I don't feel like my palette was mixed properly, but the color story in this is one of my favorites. I love the shimmers in this palette. They are stunning, and the new one has multi-chromes. Oh, I'm dead. I love Shroud's formula generally speaking, but I wasn't like a huge fan of this palette, although you guys, I did just recently use it and I didn't struggle with it as much, so I've figured out a way to make it work for me. A lot of people loved this palette and didn't have issues with it. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, the color story, you guys, beautiful. So the next one is Controversial Palette. It's new to me, but it's been out for years. I found it on the Beauty Bay website, and that is the Subculture by ABH. It screams fall, and I love these greens and the mustard, and I really enjoy this palette, you guys. I can get neutral, I can get bold, I can get fall, and I just really like it. Electric is a shade that I absolutely love in this palette. I figured I would swatch my favorite shade in each palette. That one was Zero, this one is Electric, and oh my god, oops, it is stunning. It shifts, it's stunning, it's beautiful. I love it. I love it so much. It's not showing up great on camera because like my lighting and everything, but I promise it's beautiful. I like the way it performs. I know that I don't probably have the originals or whatever. I like it. It's like my basic bitch palette. If I was to say what a neutral basic bitch palette would be, this would be it. This is what I like for basic bitch. Okay, moving on. The next one that I picked was the Rebel Rouge Labs Howlin' For You. I kept the cover of it because they're different, and I think that I'm holding it upside down, nailed the packaging on this. I love it. And this is what the palette looks like. It's very fall, but it's also very Halloween, and it's a very almost chaotic color story, but it's stunning. It really, really, really is. And my favorite is this Menace shade. It is a wonderful palette. It performs very nicely. The owner was really nice. I did have a broken shade. She was right on making, fixing that for me. And yeah, I like that brand. It's the only palette that I have from that brand, but yeah. Nomad Haunted Europe. Right. Could I not include this? It is beautiful. It's stunning. It's grungy. It's got those greens and oranges and these cool toned gray blue shades. I really like this palette, and I really like this Catacombs. This is probably my favorite shade in the palette. I really like shimmers, you guys. So what can I say? But it's this very beautiful, like, that has these colorful sparkles in it, like these purple. That's my cat Chicken. Meow. 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 Yeah, it has these purple greeny shimmers in it, and I love it. The next palette is My Apples palette. I know that's not what it's called. It's called Classical Paradise by Ace Beauté, or Beauté. I call it Beauty because this is French and I can't say it properly. It is beautiful. It screams fall to me. I love the reds in it. I love this color story. I love this palette so much, and Andi Dust Stuff actually was so kind to send this palette to me, and it was, yeah, amazing. I love it. I love it so much. And Soil is my favorite shade in this palette. It is a stunning red, like, oh, it's so deep. It almost looks like this one on camera, but it's more burgundy, more red. I love it. So the next palette is the Be Perfect Carnival Antidote palette. It is massive. It is the only fall palette you would actually need. It has everything in it. Everything. This palette was sent to me from Makeup by Pia, and it quickly became one of my favorites. The formula in this is stunning. The shimmers are basic, but they perform so nicely. The matte formula is just chef's kiss, one of my favorite formulas of all time. And this color story is just, it screams me, doesn't it? My favorite shade in this palette is Zest. It's hard to pick a favorite in this palette because it's so large, but Zest is my favorite. It's this mustard, orange, yellow, and I love it. It almost matches my lip today. Okay, this one is a strange one, and I shocked myself when I picked it. I've had it for a long time, and I stopped using it on camera because my eye is watering, you guys, because I didn't like the owner of this brand. He had a Rich Lives Matter cake, and that just topped it for me for his birthday, and that is Too Faced. But that owner no longer owns that brand. It was sold and bought by Estee Lauder, and that is Too Faced. This is the Gingerbread palette. This is another basic bitch palette, and this is a basic bitch palette for me. I just love the maroons in this palette and the smell, and I really do like this palette, you guys. This row right here sucks, but the rest of it, I love it. I love the way this palette makes me feel, and this is a very basic palette, but it creates very beautiful looks in my opinion, and it goes deep enough with this like red brown shade for me, and I'm so excited to be able to start using Too Faced products. Like, I'm so excited. But anyways, my favorite shade is this Hot Toddy shadow in the palette, and do you see that? It's this red orange shift, and I think it's stunning. So I almost didn't include this because it also came from Andi and it's also another Ace Beauty palette, but I had to. It is the Ace Beauty Tropical Vibes. Now some people say this is probably spring, and I can see spring too, but it's fall to me, and it's stunning and it's beautiful, and I love this palette. Sorry, I'm looking at it and not looking at you, and I'm glaring. Sorry. It's stunning. It's beautiful. I love it. It looks almost one note, you guys, but it really isn't. You can create so many different unique looks with it. Even though it doesn't look like you can, I promise you can. And picking a favorite shade in this palette is really hard for me, but I think it's gonna be this Rainforest. The shimmers in this palette are really stunning. I love how reflective that shade is. It's very green, and when you top it on top of like a green shadow, it turns everything so reflective and beautiful, and when you top it on something, it does sort of give it more of a different look. So yes. Now I have the Alter Ego palette, the Goddess palette. This is a dupe for the Gold palette by Natasha Denona. I know some people don't agree with dupes. I couldn't, at the time when that was released, afford the $125 palette. I wish I could have, and I really wish that I would have picked it up when I could have ate that cost. But I love this palette. It's beautiful. The formula is great. I have no issues with this formula at all. Yeah, and my favorite shade is this Cassandra shade, which I'm wearing on my eyes right now. I didn't tell you which palettes are on my eyes. I'll tell you at the end. But this shade, it looks very basic in that swatch. You can't even see it. It's right here. Here. You can see it on my eyes, I swear. That's it. It's beautiful. It's stunning. As you can tell, I'm gonna erase that one. But as you can tell, I kind of have my favorites are very all the same, sort of. So the next palette that I picked may not scream fall to you. It may be more leaning towards spring, but to me, it's a fall palette. And that is the Menagerie Feral palette. And I love this palette. It's heavy, it's weighted, it's luxe feeling. The packaging is beautiful, and the color story is beautiful. It is very spring, I guess. But for me, with these browns and this reddy tone and these greens over here, I feel like it's a fall palette. You can call me crazy, all right, that's fine, I understand. But even this yellow here reminds me of fall, and there's just these pops of pink and stuff. Just ignore it. This is a fall palette to me. And my favorite shade is this Wolfling shade, which I'm also wearing on my eyes. And it is just this beautiful pinky, shifty-ish shimmer. So yeah, that is my favorite fall palettes in my collection. Now you may disagree with me on some of them, whether they're spring or fall, but I feel like I can get fall looks with these palettes, and they're my favorite in my collection for fall. And I have other favorites, you guys. I love eyeshadow palettes, and I have a lot of fall themed palettes, so this was kind of challenging for me. I want to know what your favorite fall palettes are. If you disagree with me on what I picked for fall themed, if you have any of them, if you don't like them, whatever. I want to hear your thoughts on everything. So I'm going to tell you what's on my eyes. I love this look. It's actually a collab with Shannon. That with Shannon. That's already posted, but you may not have seen it, so I'm just going to tell you what's on my eyes. The AS Beauty Classical Paradise. I have the Be Perfect Carnival Antidote palette, the Feral palette, and the Goddess palette on my eyes right now. I know that's a lot of palettes, but I love this look. What do you think? I really like it. Anyways, thank you, Andi, so much for doing another fun collab with me. And yeah, I love fall so much. I love it. I love it. It is my season. It is my time. But yeah. Okay, you guys, go check Andi out. That's what I'm telling you to do. I'm being bossy and I'm telling you to go check her out. Go give her channel love if you haven't already, okay? All right. I hope to see you next time. Bye.